Well, hello everyone and welcome back to John's Workshop, and this is going to be Workshop Blether number 18. I knew I'd forget. So this is long overdue sticker shout outs, stickers, some stickers have come in, there's some shout outs to do that I've got to do, there's some viewer gifts that have come in, we're going to have a quick look at that, and then finally a very nice viewer gift in the shape of a, well, up to boring head. And that came in probably almost a year ago now ish, something like that, from a very kind channel donation. I've done nothing with it since it came in for a reason that I'll go into around the drawbar, and that will lead us on to drawbars as I've put at the bottom. So I've got a couple of drawbars to make for the mill, so we'll do a bit of discussion around that because that's new projects coming into the workshop. So that's going to be it for this one. It's going to be short and sweet, but I do need to get some of the shout outs and sticker call outs done, so that's what we'll start off with. So I'll bring you in at the bench and we'll get on to having a look at who's sent stickers into the channel. Okay, so here we go. This is my overdue sticker mail. So first cab off the rank is Paul from Haxby Shed. So most of you who watch me will watch Paul. If not, Paul's got a very good channel. He's got a Harrison lathe, recently been refurbishing a Harrison milling machine, and very good electrical knowledge. I've learnt a lot from watching Paul's videos around VFDs, wiring of VFDs, things like that. So Paul's very competent at doing that. He's busy getting his mill set up. He's also got a shaper that he's been refurbishing. So yeah, some interesting videos, and I think Paul, I've got to be honest, is the only person I've ever seen that's turned a shaper into a surface grinder. So he's got some interesting videos around some of that he's done, and he also turned it into a milling machine. So some quite interesting stuff that Paul's done in the past. So absolutely, if you don't watch Paul, go and check his channel out and you'll find some very interesting content on there. So thank you, Paul. I'll get that up on the cupboard door very shortly. Next cab off the rank is Neil. So I've got a very nice letter from Neil that I'm not going to show, and so this is Neil from Nell's Mechanical Man Cave down in Wales. So, and this is a 3D printed sticker. So Neil, thank you very much. That will be going up on the cupboard door, and if you're going to check Neil's channel out, it's all about not so much lots of machining, it's all about good ideas around time saving, good ideas. You know, Neil comes up with ideas and sticks them out there for people to think about and utilise if they want to. Some good content on his channel, and he's obviously going to be putting more up in the future. So please go and check Neil's channel out, and I'm sure you'll enjoy the stuff that he does on there. The next one is Bear from Bear's Rod Shop over in Texas in the USA. So Bear does quite a lot on his channel. He's does a lot of upholstery work, doing up old classic cars, things like that. Very, very skilled. He's been doing that as a business for quite some years. He's also got a good range of machine tools in his workshop, and there'll be some machining on his channel, and Bear's just in the process of was going to move, not going to move. So he's in a bit of flux at the minute, and he could really do with your support. So if you've not checked out Bear, go and check his channel out, and I'm sure again you'll find some interesting stuff on there. And Bear, for your knowledge, that turned up on the 24th of May. So I don't know how many days that was since you posted it, but I know you said you'd count them up. And anybody who knows Bear will know that he recently lost Sammy, his bride, after many years. And so Bear sent me one of these, which is with a nice letter on the back, and asking me to stick this up in the workshop for for a bit of a look over the workshop to make sure everything's safe. And that worked for Tom Knopp at Hilltop Machine Works in his recent fire. I think Tom had got a picture of Sammy up in his workshop, and it was the only thing that didn't burn in his office. So you know, make of that what you will if you're superstitious or not superstitious. So Bear, I'll be making sure I get that up in the workshop. Bear also sent me a couple of stickers through that I don't yet have. So Everett from Everett's Workshop and Randy Richard in the shop. So they're 2 new stickers for me. So they'll be going up on the door. Thank you, Bear. And now we come to the last set of stickers. Now these people laugh at me for how rare my stickers are when they go out. These are the rarest stickers in the YouTube community, and not only are they rare, they come very big as well. So who is it? Well, let's have a look. It's Ian Matthews. So Ian's got a slightly different channel. Ian's, and sorry Ian, this hasn't travelled too well, but we'll flatten that out and do something with it. So Ian's channel is more around scrapping at the moment. So Ian goes into quite some detail in terms of how to break stuff down as a hobby scrapper, but he's very entertaining to watch. Even if scrapping's not your thing, I'm sure you'll get a smile and a laugh out of some of Ian's videos that he makes, because they are quite funny. And Ian is doing all of this, and the money that he's making from his scrapping, his long-term aim is to set himself a machine shop up. So he has got a milling machine buried somewhere in his garage, and a lathe actually buried somewhere in his garage. In fact, he's got half an industrial workshop buried somewhere in his garage, amongst other things. And his long-term aim is, in retirement, he's going to set up a workshop a bit like the one I've got and get into machining. So that's why Ian, watches the machining community, because he's learning from the videos that the people that are already doing this put out. So thank you, Ian. As I said, we'll get the iron on that or do something with it, and we'll find somewhere to put that. Ian's also sent me a couple of others which have travelled equally not so well, Ian, but again we'll flatten these out. We'll get them under something heavy, so if in doubt, give it a clout. So all of Ian's scrapping is done with a brick hammer, as you'll see if you go and watch his channel. There's nothing he can't take apart with one of those. So thank you, Ian. We'll get that up on the door. And Ian also sent me a nice letter that he said I can read out, so I will do just that. So I'll read this out. So Ian basically says, "Hi John, first let me thank you for the time and effort you put into your channel. As a wannabe machinist, I find it invaluable the way you illustrate what you do and the order in which you do things." It's making me blush, Ian. "One day when I get my mill and my fit up and running, I will put into practice what I have garnered from you. Hope these bits of offcuts come in handy. P.S. There's more, but it will take some time to dig out." I'll come on to what that's all about in a moment. Here's a couple of my channel stickers for your cupboard. One's a big one, so I can be seen. So there you go. So that's from Ian, the man in the shed, as he calls himself. So thank you, Ian. Very glowing reference that you've just given me there, mate. So I'm going to clear this away in a moment, and we're going to put up on the table what Ian sent me. In fact, I'll have to put it on the welding table. We did a bit of a trade, so I sent some stuff down to Ian, and his latest video, you'll see that if you go and check his channel out. And Ian's kindly sent me some bits of bar end and bits of steel stock that he's had kicking around in his shed, which are going to come in very, very useful for me for projects in the workshop. So I couldn't be more pleased with that, Ian. Thank you very much. We'll get that out on the table in a moment. Have a look. Just before we do that, there's a couple of other shout outs I need to do that are long overdue. So I've got a few of the guys where I work support me, not necessarily in comments, but they do watch my videos regularly, and been meaning to shout them out for quite some time. So you guys know who you are. So Rusty and Johnny, thank you very much, much appreciated. Oh, and there's another guy. Oh, what's his name? Oh, do you know I'm rubbish with names. Billy, that was it, Billy. Thank you, Billy. Thank you for your support, mate. Right, I will clear this all away and we'll get some bar stock out and show you what Ian sent me through. Okay, so I need wide angle lens on really for this lot. So this is what Ian's just sent me through. You can see here we've got some, some big chunks of 75mm probably square, maybe a bit less, maybe 70mm square, carbon steel, some more square, some hex, some key steel. So yeah, I mean, big lumps of metal. I mean, they're going to be really, really handy for future projects. And then on this side we've got lots of black hot rolled 6mm, 8mm, 10mm hot rolled stock. I mean, again, fantastic. Some round stock. Not sure, these look like they've come out of maybe an industrial printer or something, I'm not really sure, but I think carbon steel, big long lengths of it, about 8mm diameter. Again, all very useful. And Ian's also sent me this, which is one of the biggest comparators that I've ever seen, in the shape of a micrometer. So this would have been used as a comparator to go between, I think, 14 and 18 inches, something like that, with a clock on it. And basically you would use this, you'd set it up with a standard and set your tolerance on your clock, and then use that as a comparator for measuring. So not quite sure, I don't think I'm ever going to be turning anything that big. So what we'll probably do with this is turn this into a bit of wall art somewhere in the shop, and because that's got a very good DTI on it, intense, I might take that off, clean that up and use that for actual work. And I might put something on there that looks a bit like a DTI but is actually a proper clock that's got time on it. So we'll use this as a bit of wall art and a clock maybe for the shop, for the workshop wall. So that's that. And then, as if that wasn't enough, and I'm fairly sure that Ian's trying to test my welding out on my welding bench, which probably does need a good test, anybody who's watched me weld. He also sent me this, which is a bag full of all sorts of bits of bar ends like this, EM1A I think that is, leaded, bright, different grade because that's blue, I don't know, that's probably EM3B or something like that. So these have all come out of a shop that's probably, you know, using these as chucking pieces, and these are what's left over after they're finished, probably out of a CNC environment. All sorts of rings of different bits of bar, all absolutely dead handy for projects. Another bit of square stock there, decent sized square stock. So yeah, for my size of workshop, all of this stuff is absolutely dead handy. There's another big piece of round stock in the bottom. Not sure what that is, it's got some numbers on it, but yeah, carbon steel again. I mean, absolutely fantastic. I don't have much stock in the workshop at all, and I have to buy, and it's very expensive, I have to buy it cut to length, sent by post when I want to make anything, and it's a horrendously expensive way of doing projects really from a raw material perspective. So all of this, Ian, is much gratefully received and will be very, very handy for me in here for future projects. So thanks again, mate. Really, really good stuff. Right, I'll clear things down and we'll move on to the Vernier boring head and have a look at that. So just before we move off Ian Matthews, Ian, I said to Ian, if there's anything I've got that you can make use of, let me know, because I've got some duplicates of stuff and things like that. And he said, what I could actually do with is a big vernier. And then he laughed and said, wait till you see my latest video. So if you go and check Ian's latest video out, you'll see him looking very proud with a couple of what he called big verniers that he managed to pick up. So Ian, as I said in my message in true Crocodile Dundee style, you call that a vernier? This is the one that I've got for you, mate. So there you go. I'm a full 6 foot 13 3/4, and so you tell me if that's something you want, it's yours, because I've got no use for it in this workshop. So if you can make use of that, mate, you let me know and I'll get it to you. That's a vernier. Okay, so with all that hilarity out the way, we'll move on to the viewer gift, viewer gift from, I don't know, probably about a year ago, and the donator would like to remain anonymous, so you know who you are. Thank you very much, and it's a shame that I haven't managed to do anything with this yet, but now's the time. I'm getting round to doing something like this now we've got our mill spindle and everything sorted out. So this is a very nice Blether boring head in its original box. It's on an ISO 30 back end, which is why the kind donated it once I'd got my ISO 30 spindle sorted out for my mill. So we've got the ISO 30 back end, and you can see the condition this is in. It's absolutely perfect condition. So this is a facing and boring head. So you have a ring that you can lock here that engages or disengages the facing option, and then some very fine graduations. So this is made in Germany, and it is absolutely top quality. This has got more features on it than my car, and I must admit, and because I've not used this yet, I don't know what they all are or how they work, but I do know that there are 1 or 2 good videos on YouTube explaining how these things work. So I'm going to have to do some research before we get to use this. But yeah, absolutely top quality. You can feel it just in your hands that it's quality. So that's the boring head itself. All the graduations and markings are still all very clear, you know, there's no corrosion at all. And then what comes with it in the set is a whole range of boring bar holders. So these are all holders, and some of them have still got high-speed steel boring tools in them, which is great. Some haven't, but you know, there's no problem with me making you know, buy some square stock high-speed steel to fit in these, no problem at all, and then I can grind whatever I want. And obviously, as with most boring heads, you've got 3 options, 3 positions here, and also the sideways. Well, it would help if you're on the camera, John. Let's try that again. So we've got 3 positions in the bottom of the head, and also a sideways position as well for doing large bores or even large faces with this boring head. And then a range of lengths of bars, short, medium, long, all of the toolkit to go with it, the steady bar or stay bar for when you're using the facing head, and then when you lift this out of here, it's got a whole range of even bigger boring bars to make this really, you know, this thing can go out to some big sizes, and also a range of collets to step down to smaller size boring bars. So it's a full complete set, all in the original packaging and all in very good condition. So as I said, I've got some learning to do when we get round to actually using this. I can't use it yet, and the reason I've not used it yet is because my mill has got a metric 12, so it's M12 drawbar in it. This is an imperial, and strange as it is because everything's metric on the boring head, obviously being made in Germany, but it's got an imperial thread in the back end of it, so I need an imperial drawbar to actually put this into my spindle. I've been doing some research, and I need to get the right one here, just bear with me. I think it's this one. So this is a 1/2 inch Whitworth thread, so I need to make a 1/2 inch Whitworth drawbar for the mill, which is nice and easy to do, no problem at all. So that's one of the upcoming jobs in the next few weeks, is for me to get some steel stock and make a drawbar for this. But yeah, what a piece of kit that is. I've got no idea what these would retail at new these days, but they would not be cheap. So a fantastic gift. The generosity is out of this world, and I am very pleased and proud to own this piece of kit. So you will be seeing this no doubt in the future once we've got our drawbar made, as coming into future projects. So that's the Volupta boring head. So we'll just close that for a moment. I had another viewer gift, again from a kind donation from a viewer that again wishes to remain anonymous. So this is a Clarkson chuck for my mill, again with the ISO 30 back end on it, and obviously to hold the Clarkson style end mills that have got the thread on the back end. And I've got a full range of imperial and metric collets for this head, so fully ready to go, other than the fact this has also got an imperial thread in the back end of it, unfortunately not 1/2 inch width. This one is 1/2 inch UNC. So I've 2 drawbars to make, a 1/2 inch UNC drawbar for the Clarkson unit and a 1/2 inch Whitworth drawbar for the Volupta boring head. So not difficult to make, they take seconds to change over. The challenge I'm going to have is making sure that I clearly mark the difference up between all three, the M12, the 1/2 inch width and the 1/2 inch UNC, so that I don't end up damaging either the drawbars or the units themselves by getting mixed up between the drawbars. But that's easy to do, we can do that on the body of the drawbar itself, so not a problem. So thought I would just show those 2 very nice gifts that I got over a year ago probably, and I didn't show them at the time because largely until I was ready to make the drawbars it was kind of irrelevant, because I would have talked about it and then you wouldn't have seen anything more on these for a year. So you are going to start to see these creeping into projects and being used regularly when the need arises, and once I've got my drawbars made. So again, fantastic community that we belong to here, and as many other YouTube machinists have shown, the generosity is out of this world. Quick update, Bear, we've got Randy and Everett's that were sent through by Bear, so they're up on the board. Paul, Ian times 2, Ian times 3.5, just based on the size. I had to go on the side with that one, Ian, unfortunately, because it's too big to fit on the irregular shape on the front of the door, and if I put it on my whiteboard I'll have no room left to write rubbish on it. So that's where your big stickers live in, Ian, and we managed to get that flattened out okay. And finally, Neil, you've landed on the board there just based on I needed a flat surface for the 3D print, so you've last entry onto the board. And Bear, we've got Sammy up next to the board. So with all that being done and said, I'll just move the camera and we will close this episode out. So there we go guys, that gets us to the end of Workshop Blether number 18. And apologies, there's been no machining at all in this one. I normally like to throw a little bit of something in just so that it's not all talking, but Blethers are Blethers for that very reason really. So an opportunity for me to talk about upcoming projects and what's coming in and out of the workshop, and to give a bit of airtime to the other channels that are kind enough to send stickers or, as you've just seen, some fantastic gifts through to help me in my workshop make projects and content for all of you guys to watch, or guys and girls to watch. I've got to stop saying guys, I've been doing it for years and I'm trying very hard to stop doing that. I always treated the word guys as meaning everybody, but I realise that that can be misinterpreted, so I do apologise if I upset anybody. That's not intentional, and I am trying hard to stop using that term and be a bit more inclusive. So that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found that interesting, what I have been through, and just, you know, if you're not excited by the way this community works and supports itself, then you're probably in the wrong community, because it's just a fantastic thing to belong to. Everybody gets on with everybody, everybody helps everybody, and we have a bit of a laugh along the way. And you know, what better club could you belong to if it's something that you enjoy doing as well? So yeah, fantastic to be part of the community, and I also am always very much appreciative of not just the gifts and the stickers and the other channels, but the viewers, the subscribers, the commenters, and all of the traffic that we have on a regular basis coming in and out of the channel. So I do enjoy all of that as well. So thank you all very much for watching. Thank you again to the kind donators that have sent stickers and gifts into the channel, and we will catch you all very soon on another video when we'll be making something else.